Well, a Central Indiana nonprofit is making a diverse and broad impact in the community. Pattern had planned on opening its sewing production facility, StitchWorks, to local designers in March, but shifted focus when the pandemic hit and began producing gowns and masks, PPE. StitchWorks is also working on launching the city's only industrial sewing certificate program. A long-term goal to operate as a full-time cut and sew facility to keep production in Indiana instead of overseas. And for more, I'm pleased to welcome back to the show Pattern co-founder and StitchWorks director, Polina Osherov. And Polina, as always, welcome to the show. Great to see you. Unfortunately, it's virtually, but great to see you.
Well, you too. It's always good to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Pattern, your brainchild, launched 10 years ago, so celebrating 10 years in business, which is quite an accomplishment. But talk about the mission, Pattern Magazine, and the initiative and various initiatives you have at Pattern to really promote fashion and the creative class apparel in Indiana. Talk about really the mission.
Absolutely. So our mission is to grow the local creative economy, as you noted, and provide a platform for creative expression for young, up-and-coming creatives of all kinds. We consider ourselves a growth accelerator for the creative economy, and we do that in a number of ways, and StitchWorks is just one of those programs.
Yeah, I should mention, because really through your efforts, you have shined a light really and uncovered a lot of the creative talent that exists here that maybe people don't know about.
Definitely. I think that Indianapolis, I've discovered, has so many incredibly talented people, and we are happy to provide, I guess, an outlet for them through the magazine, both the print and the digital, and some of the events that we do, and some of the other programming that we have.
Very good, and helping to generate jobs and investment here in Central Indiana instead of elsewhere. Let's talk about StitchWorks now, because this another initiative you had. You're very excited about it. I'm sure you're going to launch in March, and then the pandemic hit and forced things to change. Talk about the idea behind StitchWorks and how you've kind of shifted gears a bit.
Sure. So StitchWorks actually has been a concept that's been in the making for a really long time, almost as long as the organization has been around. The idea there is to provide a resource for local fashion designers to be able to have their collections made. Instead of making it themselves, they can bring it to a place and have everything sewn. At this point, people have to ship things to other countries like China, for example, or other parts of the country here. And so we don't have anything like that. We've been wanting to make something like that happen. And finally, through a grant from the Ellen Whitehill Clues Charitable Foundation, we were able to launch a pilot. And we were getting ready to open to the public in late March when COVID happened. And very quickly, almost a week later, through some very fortuitous happenings, we were able to pivot and get into a contract with Eskenazi Health to make 2,500 isolation gowns for them. So that happened very, very quickly. We mobilized close to 100 stitchers.
Wow.
To make this happen in a very, very short amount of time. It was a pretty steep learning curve, yeah. But I definitely consider it a silver lining of everything that's happened. Yeah,
and only have about 45 seconds left, Polina, but this has turned into a real business opportunity for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's lots of opportunities here, and we hope to help uncover those for all the local economic development folks.
Very good. StitchWorks, a growing entity now, and Pattern. Again, congratulations, Polina, on 10 years for Pattern. It has made an impact, and I know it will continue to make an impact going forward. Polina Osherov is the co-founder and executive director at Pattern. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, Gary.